Alrighty. So, um, it is again time of the day, the week, that it is prestige time. After a bit of a shambles, what it was this mystery track to be chosen. Was it gonna be Miami or Canada? From the spins, it apparently landed on Canada, but then it was chosen that Miami will be the one, because why not? We are in Q1. Bacon was on a flying lap until apparently he somehow made the rare occasion where a driver cut the first corner too much, which is interesting. Q1, as always, since it's full quali. Ben is going to be the first one now to start his flying lap, and hopefully he's going to be able to complete this one. I forgot, due to the short time, I now didn't talk. I've forgotten a bit to talk about the standings. So, these standings for Prestige, after a bit of a disaster for Roggy last summer round in Singapore. A very good race from Marco and a decent one from Tsunami. It means that Marco has extended his championship lead over Tsunami and over Roggy. Roggy, after penalties, finished 6th, Tsunami 3rd, and Marco finished 1st. So it means that in the drivers' standings, Ben has invalidated his time, so I guess we'll go not with Niklas, I guess with Roggy on his lap in the background as I talk about the standings. So Marco is leading the championship by 16 points. Marco has 168. Tsunami in second has 152. Roggy in third with 139. That's 13 points behind Tsunami and almost 29 points behind Marco. So even if Marco would for some reason not finish this race, he would still be in front of Roggy, even if Roggy would win the Grand Prix and take the fastest lap. He would be still behind Marco. Fourth is Shaz with 75 points, Tig 5th with 71, Ibrahim 6th with 64, then Tom with 61, DJ with 41, fast lap 27.020, Peligro in 9th, 36 points, then Jakey rounds off the top 10 with 34, then Brothers in 11th with the same amount of points, 34, Niklas in 12th with 30, Steps in 13th with 24, and Martin, the final driver, with any sort of points in 14th, has 8 points, the rest 0. In the constructors, as it is expected, Haas are leading the championship, almost 100 points in front of McLaren. That is 98, I believe. No, 92 or 94 in front of McLaren, let's just say. And then 80 or so points behind is Red Bull, behind McLaren. So Haas in first with 313, McLaren in second with 219, Red Bull third with 134. Then behind, Alpine jump in front of Mercedes. So Alpine in fourth with 98, Mercedes in fifth with 95, Aston Martin jump in front of Williams to be sixth with 93 points, and Williams in seventh with 91. So those three teams, Alpine, Mercedes, Aston Martin, and Williams, are all separated just by 7 points. So it is going to be very crucial for these drivers that are driving for these teams. It's going to be very crucial to score a good amount of points this season for these couple of final races, so that they will be in that fourth position. Ferrari in 8th with 65, VCarb in 9th with 61, and Sauber in 10th with 21, still at the back. So yeah, now let's look at the qualifying. Marco, as always, as expected, is in first on the mediums, 126.602 on the mediums. Ben in second with 26.825. Tom in third with 27.020 still. Michał in fourth with 27.326. Ibrahim in fifth with 27.340. Tilted in sixth, 27.780. Rocky in seventh only, 27.868. Peligua in eighth, 28.346. Niklas in ninth with 28.783. And then Bacon, the final one, with 29.914. There's still Lossi, Shaz, Josephiles, Jake, Pimerada, Jameiro, Tsunami, GP, and Dragon, aka DJ, to still do their times. Jake is on his flying lap, apparently. Is using his ERS, so he's pushing. Tsunami as well, on a lap, as well as GP. I make one. Oh, no, actually, I can't do it. Hello, Bacon. Yeah. Tsunami, second sector, 101.492. Jake, where is he gonna finish? He's gonna go P8 27.931 as he came across the line. Then Tsunami, the championship contender, really needs to do well in this race to close in on Marco, and he does go behind Marco. Goes up to second, 26.620. Of course, Marco did that time, his time, on the mediums compared to Tsunami on the softs, but it is what it is. Tsunami, as always, retiring early on, and as well on track to I guess not get that much tire wear on his car, on his tires. I guess Peligua is crossing the line, and he does go P8, 27.774. Marco goes into the pits. GP is up to 7th, 27.434 as well. Anyone else? Jake not on a lap. Pimeralda and DJ are on a lap. Pimeralda apparently fastest first sector, but of course that fastest first sector on the track map can be a bit faulty. Dragging through the second sector, this twisty bit, through the chicane, and then into this left-hander, and then need to get a good exit for this massive straight. Second sector 102.132, so it should be probably around a GP, Peligua, somewhere in between there, aka in P8, probably. P7 goes a bit wide onto the penultimate corner. Well, technically it's not, but penultimate corner, third final corner, and then these two final curves, and then it goes actually fifth, 127.196, so a good time from Dragon. A very good one. Pimerada goes in front of him, goes up to fifth, 27.042. Of course, Dragon has more time on that lap, clearly, since well, mediums compared to softs. Tom getting a nice bit of tow from his teammate and brother on this massive DRS straight, breaking into the third final corner. We need to look up the corner numbers probably, but Tom is going to be across the line and can go fastest. Yes, he can go fastest. Tom goes P1 26.358 by the Williams, so a good lap from Tom. Of course it is Q1, but it boosts your confidence at least a little bit. Josephiles is going to come across the line as well himself. And where does he go? He goes as well very high, and does better than Marco on the same set of tire. Josephiles goes up into P to 26.561 on the mediums, so a very good lap from Files. Of course, maybe we don't know that Marco maybe made a mistake there, maybe as well not pushing, but still boosting up confidence for Joseph Hiles. Shaz, in the meantime, has gone up to 8th, 27 to 3. Tilted in 13th, 27.780. The two Alpines are very close, although Pellegua is improving and he stays in 12th, 27.633. But that is the same set of mediums that he's driving on, and McCluskey in the V-Carb goes fastest now, 26.160, 2 tenths faster than Tom. Well, pretty much equal 2 tenths. We don't need to care about those 2 thousandths. But yeah, McCluskey goes fastest, and his, well, not his, but Tom's teammate Niklas goes up to P3, 26.400. So even without that slipstream on the same straight, probably, maybe he did get slipstream from his teammate, but anyways, goes up to third, 26.400. Marco starts his flying lap on the same set of mediums. Files into the pits. Shaz helping out, well, not helping out, he as well. Ibrahim goes into the pits. Tilted did improve on his time, has gone up to 13th, 27.404. Pellegua would really need to improve on his time, as Ruggie goes now fastest, and he has done a time of 26.089. That is 7 tenths, exactly 7 hundredths faster than McCluskey, and he goes up to P1. Let's look at Marco. Well, we don't see his Sector 1 split times, unfortunately. So let's look at some of the drives from back. GP on a lap on the softs. Pellegua would really need to do a lap on the softs. Jake improving to the first sector by 7 tenths. Those 7 tenths would bring him up to P11, but a slide on the exit out of the chicane. That is going to lose a massive amount of time. And on the exit out of this corner, 6.5 tenths. So he did lose a lot of time. It's Baron, not Bacon. Okay. I thought it was Bacon for a second. But okay. Lost massive amount of time, Jake. Marco goes up to P5. On the same set of mediums, 26.416, 16 thousandths behind Niklas. Jake goes up to 10th, even though with his mistake still goes into the top 10, 27.131. Yeah, this isn't Shaz, this is better than Shaz. In terms of commentating, better than Shaz. So yeah, maybe even in driving. Okay, that's I'm not saying confidently that that'll be faster than Shaz. It really depends. It really depends. GP crossing the line, and he goes up to P8, 26.686. A very good time by GP to go up to top 10. In the meantime, McCluskey has joined the flipping session, so I guess he was disconnected. Dragon has started his lap on the set of softs. First sector should be a massive improvement. And is it 2.5 tenths? So a good improvement. I wouldn't call it massive compared to like from the performance of softs to mediums, but still a good one. I feel like someone has gone up there but has improved the times but hasn't. Maybe I'm missing something. Jamero coming out of the pits finally to try and set his first set of time. Baron is gonna really need to improve on his time massively to be at least within a second of Pellegua. At the end, he's almost 2 seconds behind Pellegua. Bit of a slide on the exit out of those well, those are not chicanes, but S's, and a spin exiting the corner that goes into this massive straight. I was really need to look up the flipping corner numbers. Dragon crossing the line, and where does he go? Goes up to P9, 26.748. Even though he did gain 4.5 tenths, he does only go a couple of positions. Pimarada hasn't validated his time, unfortunately. Ben starts probably his final flying lap of this qualifying. Miho is now gonna cross the line with his time of 27.086, goes up to P12. let's see if that's gonna be enough for him to qualify into Q2. Shaz starts his lap on the set of mediums, so he's really trying to go through on the mediums. He's risking it a bit in here, as Ibrahim is improving through the second sector by 3/10. So Ibrahim can do something about in here. Jamero not looking that... Actually, he's not... I take my words back. He's actually looking quite pacey, and he could as well make Shaz go down, I think, easily. Ibrahim 3/10 up. Did he keep that 3/10 up? Yes, he did, and even doubled it, more than doubled it. Goes up into P7, 26.562, 1,000 of a second behind Josephiles, by the way. And yeah, Jamero goes behind his teammate Shaz and crashes into a wall and actually retires. Okay, so Shaz is in P15 still. He does improve through the second sector by 2.5 tenths, so that's very good news for him. Tilted remains in 7. No, he's going for another lap, I believe. Peligua is as well on a lap. So let's look at Shaz. Does he maintain those 2 tenths? If he maintains at least that 10th in there, then he's going to be through. Or he should be through. And he's now through. Goes up to P12, 27.021. And he's through on the mediums. Now, Jake is in danger. And Michał is in danger of not making it in. Pimeralda is going to make it in easily. Is there anyone else on a lap? Dragon maybe? No. Pimeralda? Yes, he is on a lap. Half a second up on his time to the second sector, third sector. He is up on his time as well. And it goes up to P6, 26.476. The rest, Ben is not on a lap. So, oh, Peligua is actually out. Ah, he retired himself, so I guess invalidated lap. So Michał is through. Now Jake can be out here still. Tilted. It's too much cutting on that hairpin. And now these two final kinks. No ERS usage. Does he make it? No, he doesn't. 600ths of a second back. Oh, well, behind Jake. So he is in P16. And it is Tilted, Jamero, Peligua, and Baron out of Q1. Jake just about makes it into Q2. The same with Michał, Shaz, Ben, Dragon, GP, Tsunami, Ibrahim, Josephiles, Pimeralda, Marco, Niklas, Tom, McCluskey, and Roggy are all into Q2. Baron a bit down on Peligua, unfortunately. As well, yeah, Marco, Josephiles, and Shaz are the ones who qualified into Q2 on the mediums. Peligua did invalidate his lap. I wanna check if it allows me to check. Did he invalidate? Yes, he did. He was up on his time though. Yeah, he was gonna be in easily. I mean, 6 tenths first sector, let's say 3 tenths second sector, so he would have been easily in. He would have been in the easily. He would have been in the 26s, which would have been easily into Q2. Unfortunate that he invalidated his lap. Now with this little break, I'm gonna go into the F1 app and look at the flipping corner numbers, because I can't be asked to flipping be this flipping awkward and go through the... It doesn't sound good. At least if I know how many corners on here. 19, okay. Okay. Now I sort of know how many corners on here, because previously I didn't. Cars out on track once again. We have GP, Dragon, Michał, then the two Williamses of Tom and Niklas, Ibrahim as well out on track. Then plenty of more. One horse. I'd guess that would be Marco. Yes, that is Marco. McCluskey. No, that isn't McCluskey. That is Ben. Pimeralda. Jake. Then Rocky as well out on track. Pimeralda, Ibrahim, and Michał at the moment are out on mediums. Josephilis is coming out on mediums as well, so he's joining that club. Still Shaz in the pits. The same with McCluskey. They're the ones, the only ones in the pits still. The first one to start a lap, it's gonna be DJ Dead Dragon on the softs, coming around the two final corners. Easy flat out, of course, and we start the lap into turn one. Bit of a, well, I mean, I don't like this track, so I would call all these corners bad. But through 1, 2, and 3, this long opening corner, and then into the S's 4, 5, 6. Had to watch out for those curbs, and then into turn 7, and then into turn 8. Good with track limits 30.159. By meaning good, I mean like he didn't invalidate. Then onto this DRS straight, one of the two massive straights on this track. Then into turn, is it 9? No, 11. Then into turn 12. Then into turn 13, and then into this chicane 14, 15. And then going into turn 16, you really need a good exit out of here to this, again, massive straight, 102.037 through the second sector. DRS is open right here, and then just waiting for that hairpin turn 17 to come through. Braking. Does he do a good hairpin? Yes, he does, at least in a way that he doesn't spin. And then 18 and 19, easy flat out. And Dragon with a time of 1:27.104. Not a particularly great lap, but if those are used tires, then that is a acceptable time. GP goes now fastest 26.973. Michał third 27.543. Tom second 27.095. Behind him his brother Tom, Nicola, sorry. I guess invalidated. Then behind Marco, does he go P1? Yes, he does go P1, 1 second in front of GP, and the first one to go into 25s in this qualifying. Behind him, Ibrahim invalidated his time. Behind him, it's going to be Jake, and he goes P6, 27.707. Then behind him, it's going to be Ben. Where does he go with this time? He goes P2, 26.386. A good time by Ben. Hopefully he can get into Q3 this time, since in Singapore looked like he had good pace, but unfortunately he couldn't make it into Q3. Tsunami goes in the meantime up into P2, 26.125. That is 2 tenths, exactly 2 tenths behind Marco. Then who is finishing their times? It's not Pimeralda, that definitely not. I mean, Shaz is not on a lap anymore. Was on a lap, but not anymore. Pimeralda is getting a lovely slipstream from Roggy, I believe. Yes, that is Roggy. But are they both on a lap? I would assume that they're both on a lap. Yeah, I guess both of them are on a lap. So that is a, well, massive miscommunication between the two. Pimeralda, of course, very mad that he's getting blocked by Roggy, and Roggy, of course, a bit of distraction from Roggy. Of course, it depends, was this all planned by Pimeralda? But yeah, I mean, he is getting a lovely toe from Roggy. Maybe a bit too close to Roggy into the hairpin, runs a bit wide. But anyways, both of them will complete their times. And Roggy, where does he go? P6, as Pimeralda goes in front of him, half a second in front of him. Well, even more than half a second, 5.5. seconds, 5.5 tenths in front of Roggy. Hello, Noise. Yeah. But yeah, Pimeralda P4, Roggy P6, Ibrahim in P9, 27.129. There's still Shaz, Josephiles, Niklas, and McCluskey to set their times. McCluskey hasn't validated his time. I saw that, well, both Pimeralda and Roggy have no fuel, so they will be both running, well, on low fuel. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter with the fact that when you run out of fuel, it doesn't really affect your top speed that much in the end, since it's not the hard mode, it's the low mode or whatever it is, the flipping setting. Ben, it seems like that he is on the lap, and for the second sector he's up on his time by 58 thousandths. That would be him still in third. Ollie again joins in, Ollie X. He'll be driving, I think, again to Sauber. So yeah, he's gonna be again doing last to first. Last time out, I don't actually remember how it went. He was up there, but then he got screwed over, if I remember right. Ben does complete his another flying lap, does improve on his time, but stays in third, 26.828.5. No one else on a lap besides maybe McCluskey. Depends if he's invalid. No, he hasn't, at least yet. First sector, what's it gonna be? Bit of a interesting exit. 29.403 for McCluskey to the first sector. Now to this DRS straight. I'll be interestingly looking at that fuel gauge, because it is going to be very low to running out on the line, what Pimeralda and Roggy were doing as well through the chicane 14-15. I mean, that is a very tricky chicane, I'm gonna have to say. 16, decent exit, 101.210. I think that it's faster than what Ben was doing through the second sector. And now, into turn number 17, that gauge is showing 0.2. It's going to be very close to the line, I'll say that. 0.1, it is going to be very close to the line with the fuel, but I think he should be good. Yes, he is good, and he goes P2, 26.088, exactly as well with the fuel. That it didn't run out yet on the line. It was probably like right after the line. Of course, it like doesn't lose you that much speed, but on a quali lap, every single tenth, hundredth, thousandth is gonna matter. So yeah, Niklas on a lap, second sector, 101.417. So looking like 2 tenths behind McCluskey, which isn't bad anyways. Josephiles in the meantime has gone 5th, 26.425. And Dragon as well has gone 7th, 26.440. We've got 3 drivers within 15 thousandths of a second. Like I said, Josephiles 26.425, Pimeralda 26.430, and Dragon in 8th, 26.440. In the meantime, Niklas has gone 5th, 26.313. So, like I maybe predicted in my head, he was gonna be there. Tom hasn't invalidated his time. Roggy still with that 26.995, looking to improve that. Of course, he really needs to improve that, because he's over 1 second slower than his teammate Marco. As Shaz has gone 4th, 26.275, 100th of a second in front of Shaz. Behind there's Jake. He goes into the pits, as well as, I guess, McCluskey. Roggy to the first sector, 4.5 tenths up on his time. So already looking good on his improvement. That will be putting him in front of Tom, but still behind Dragon. But he's still got 2 more sectors, or now 1.5, I'd say. Let's see that chicane. That chicane can be really bad. but he does it very well in terms of track limits and his rear. 8.5 tenths up on his time through the second sector. That is going to put him close behind Lassi, somewhere there, close to Toonami and Lassi, but there's still this third sector which he needs to complete. Can he go maybe provisional P? Well, he's gonna go P1. Well, he isn't gonna P1. Gonna go P1 unless he improves. But does he go P1? Yes, he does go P1. Yeah, and he is P1 127.762. 1.5 tenths in front of Marco. But what I was trying to say, if he does improve that third sector, then he could go P1. Yeah, he did go P1 and improved his time massively compared to his previous time. Behind Michał on his time, 1.5 tenths up on his time, but that's still going to be way off from the cutoff point. He would need to gain 1.1 seconds on his time to even have a chance of getting in. That might be looking a bit far, but let's see. I mean, that first sector with that improvement did not look good. That's a chicane, definitely not looking good. Exit at the corner, I guess it was alright. Half a second up on his time. It is gonna put him in front of Ibrahim, but it's still, he would still need to improve half a second, more than half a second through this third sector somehow, to even have a chance of getting in. Exiting out of turn 17. It's slow. And Michał, does he go into top 10? No, he doesn't. Goes P13, 27.026. And that's probably his final flying time in qualifying. GP, in the meantime, of improving to the first sector, improving to the second sector, 4.5 tenths through the second sector. He would still need to improve like a tenth, more than a tenth, if he wants to have any sort of chance of getting into Q3. Because one thing is to set a time into top 10, but then keeping that time whilst plenty of others are doing their times is another thing. GP doesn't even get into top 10. Yes, he does go into top 10. P8, 26.327. And retires immediately, of course. He knows that he doesn't have any sort of chance of setting another time immediately. But yeah, we have Shaz out on track, we have Ben, we have Niklas, Josefiles, Pimeralda as well was doing, well, I guess he was doing his time, but invalidated. Tom is going to be on his lap now. Ibrahim as well on an out lap. Jake on an out lap. Michał, I think it's going to be very unlikely that he can improve on his time, but we'll see. Roggy has also retired in the pits. So let's see what Tom can do on his final flying lap of Q2. A bit wide through turn 5 into turn 6. Bit better through turn 7 and 8. It's alright. First sector, is he improving? Yes, he is by 2.5 tenths. So that is gonna put him very close behind Dragon. That is very, very close with Dragon. But of course, we're not looking at Dragon, we're looking at Pimeralda's time, because that's the cut. Tenths faster than that, but we'll see, can he do that? I think he should be able, but we'll see. Through the chicane, does it invalidate? Was very good looking chicane actually. On the exit of turn 16, first sector, 3 tenths up on his time, so he would go close to GP's time, in front of Josefides, but behind the GP, so around P9. Let's see, maybe others. Pimeralda has invalidated, so he's done with qualifying at the moment. If Tom improves on his time, then Pimeralda is going to be out of qualifying, and both Aston Martins are going to be out of qualifying. Tom, does he go? Stays 12th. Something has gone wrong through that third sector, and lost time, and he is stuck in 12th with 26.451. Josefiles does improve. No, he doesn't, so he stays in 9th with 26.425. Pimeralda, like I said, has invalidated, so he's done with qualifying. Michał invalidates. Ibrahim is on a lap. Jake, can he go faster than Pimeralda? No, he can't. Goes 13, 26.663. Ibrahim, can he go P3? Yes, he can. 26.023. So Pimeralda is out of qualifying, and then the rest pretty much don't really need to do anything. Let's see. Anyways, Niklas up to P3, 25.981. Very good qualifying by Niklas in Q3. Shaz, I think, as well, improved on his time. But it is both the Aston Martins out of the qualifying. Pimrada, bit of a shock. I would have thought that Pimrada would be easy into Q3, but unfortunately he missed out by 5 thousandths of a second behind Joseph Iles. Both horses, as always, into Q3. Niklas, I mean, an amazing time in Q3. Puts him in P3 and boost of confidence going into Q3. Michał, Jake, Tom, Dragon and Primrada are out of qualifying. Joseph Iles just about makes it in. GP, Ben, Tsunami, Shaz, McCluskey and Ibrahim into Q3 as well. But that lap from Niklas was something else. I must say, I was not expecting to go into 25s. I was not expecting that at all. But okay, we're now into Q3, the final part of qualifying, the most interesting one, the best one, probably, because this sets, of course, the grid of the top 10 and determines who is on pole position. And Ben has left the session and it has retired him, so I guess that's yet another bit of unfortunate stuff happening for Ben. So I guess he's gonna start 10th, unless, I don't know, someone behind him, aka Ibrahim, Tsunami, GP, McCluskey and Marco are gonna retire. They're gonna crash out, or they're gonna get disqualified for some reason. So yeah, Ibrahim out on track, McCluskey out on track, Tsunami as well getting out of the pits, Joseph Iles as well out on track. As expected, they all will be on the softs. I would not be expecting them to be on the mediums, so I'm not gonna put even the graph, because it just takes too much time. Marco out on track, like I said, Tsunami out on track, Niklas out on track, Roggy and GP as well out on track, and it is Shaz still who, well, again, he stays the last one in the pits, or one of the last ones. Of course, Ben is not coming out now because EA, I guess, chose him to one, get disconnected, but second of all, DNF him as well at the same time. Now it of course depends, did he leave himself or did it actually disconnect him, like nothing out of his own reason? Because if he did leave out of his own will, then I mean, it's still not his fault that the game DNF'd him, but still. Okay, anyways, into now the flying laps of Q3, the first ones of Q3 for everyone, besides Shaz. Ibrahim through turns 1, 2, and now into 3. Very long, turn 3. And now we go into the S's, turn 4, turn 5, a bit far from the apex of turn 5. Turn 6 looks good, a bit-ish wide, I'd say, for into turn 7. Had to compromise that exit. 30.023 by Ibrahim. Not a good first sector, I'd say. Of course, it probably is a used set, but still not a good first sector, I'd say. Into turn 11. Then into turn 12. Personally, my most hated section of all the calendar. Then into the chicane 14, 15. The car was going loose a bit into 14, but he did manage it. Good. On the exit of turn 16, 1:01.874. So again, it's not going to be a good time, but it is a used set of softs. McCluskey 8 tenths faster than Ibrahim through the second sector, so McCluskey could be going on for at 125 in here. I think Marco's going to be going for a 125 easily. But Ibrahim is going the first one to be on the board, and he does set a time of 26.846. But McCluskey goes up to P1, 26.005, just 5,000 behind that 25 mark. Joseph Elias goes up to P2, but Marco goes, of course, into P1, 25.913 by Marco, but still slower than what Roggy did in Q2. Joseph Elias up to third, 26.338. Niklas fifth now, as Tsunami out of nowhere has set a time faster than Marco, 25.846. Of course, there's Roggy still on his lap, but at the moment Tsunami is on provisional pole position, unless, I don't know, GP can go in front. No, he can't. Roggy, can he go in front of Tsunami? Yes, he can go in front of Tsunami, almost a 10th, 900ths in front of Tsunami. Roggy is on provisional pole position now. Shaz, now he is on a flying lap. But yeah, Joseph Elias now in fifth, 33.8. Niklas in sixth with 26.672. 26.729 for GP. And Ibrahim is the last one of the drivers that have set a time. Of course, there's going to be now Shaz on a lap. I'd guess on a brand new set of softs, but we'll see. Through the first sector, a bit wide, a bit more wide than a bit. Through turn 7 and 8, but 29.527 to the first sector. When I compare that to Roggy, it is 1.5 tenths slower than Roggy for comparison. Into turn 11 and into turn 12. That turn 11 for some reason looked a bit. He went a bit slow in. 14 now, 15 to the chicane, and then into turn 15. 16, sorry, second sector, 101.147, so still roughly that's 1/10 behind Roggy still, but I don't know why Roggy just had a very good third sector. I feel like Lossie had a similar second sector than Roggy, but just, I feel like it, but Roggy just had amazing third sector. Shaz, where does he go on the brand new set of softs? Probably goes up to fourth, 25.918, 5,000s behind Marco, and a very good lap by Shaz. Now I want to compare the flipping second sectors from Roggy and Tsunami, for example. Yeah, he does lose a lot, well, a bit to the second sector, but he just has amazing third sector. It seems like he has got the fastest third sector. I mean, now Shaz is now close, half a tenth. But then, for example, Lossie, I mean, a second sector faster than Roggy. First sector a tenth slower, but in third sector, Roggy just absolutely demolishes everyone there somehow. Maybe just the way that he saves ERS throughout the lap. Maybe low wings. Although, to be fair, that second sector then should be a bit better, because half that second sector is just, well, one singular straight. So probably it is just how he saves the ERS throughout the lap, and then he just has more deployment for the end of it, and somehow he doesn't lose too much time through the first and second sectors. I'd guess probably that. So yeah. Yeah. For pretty much 4 minutes to the end of quali. Well, at least the timed, but then after that there's going to be a little bit of time. Yeah. So for a bit of a summary, Roggy in P1, Tsunami in second, Marco in third, Shaz in fourth, Lossie in fifth, Joseph Elias in sixth, Niklas in seventh, GP in eighth, and Ibrahim in ninth. I definitely suspect that Niklas, GP, and, well, definitely saying, Joseph Elias, Niklas, and Ibrahim have set their times on USET, as well as GP. Joseph Elias not too sure because he did in Q2. He did have a 1/10 slower time, so maybe that is his best that he can do. And then the rest, I doubt that they are USET. I highly doubt it that they are USETs. So we definitely should see Joseph Elias, well, the bottom 6, I guess, or Joseph Elias, Niklas, GP, and Ibrahim. Unless they invalidate, we should expect that they're going to improve their times. Well, at least Niklas, GP, and Ibrahim. Joseph Elias is going to be a bit of a question mark. Then the top 5, it is a bit of a question mark. Can they improve on their times? Of course, it depends if Shaz is going to get out. Yes, he did get out. But yeah, the top 5 is going to be a bit of a question mark. Will they be able to improve their times? So, yeah. I'm just checking, has Ben said anything about this connection or not, but hasn't said anything. Which is interesting. I don't know, but okay. So yeah. Final laps will start right in here as GP is gonna start his final flying lap of the whole qualifying and Q3. So let's look at the whole lap with GP, I guess. If he completes it, of course. Turn 1 a bit wide. Turn 2 very good. Turn 3 a bit too wide on the exit, I'd say. Marco is as well on a lap right behind him, so we should see we should somewhat focus and look at his first sector as well, or all the sectors. First sector for GP, a bit of a slide mid-corner, but first sector is an improvement of 3.5 tenths. Marco, third sector, is improving. Yes, he is by 67 thousandths. So Marco at the moment going faster than GP, like less than 10th. Now second sector with GP. Well, he is still in the second sector, but anyways, through this twisty bit now to turn 12 into 13, into then this 14, 15 chicane, and then into 16. Needs a very good exit. Second sector, what's it gonna be? 1:00.870, 8 cents faster than his previous time. So could he go provisional pole position in here, GP? He could maybe, if he does get a very good third sector, if he has saved enough ERS. He doesn't have any sort of ERS left. Into this turn 17 hairpin. Marco, did he improve? No, he's improving, but he invalidated. Marco is going to be stuck in third at the moment, unless GP can go in front of him. Yes, he can. GP misses out on provisional pole position by 1,000 of a second. GP misses out on a pole position by 1,000 of a second. That's super, super close between them. McCluskey, can he go potentially provisional pole position? Yes, he can go provisional pole position. 25.462, 3 cents faster than Roggy. Roggy is not improving whatsoever. He's 1.5 tenths behind. He's helping Shaz around here. Joseph Elias, can he improve on his time? Maybe provisional pole position. No, he can't, but stays in 7th, 25.996. Shaz now next, 4 tenths up on his time. He's got very good slipstream, and he goes up to P2, 25.493. He is 3 tenths behind. Niklas goes up to P5, and Ibrahim shoots up through the timetable. Niklas in P6, but I think it is still McCluskey in P1, but I think Ibrahim is in P2 or in P3. Which way is it? No, sorry, Tsunami in P3. McCluskey does get the pole position here in Miami. Shaz gets P2. Thanks for the lovely slipstream from Roggy. Tsunami in front of his own both of his championship rivals. GP P5, Niklas P6, Marco P7, Joseph Elias P8, Ibrahim P9, and Ben in P10. Very good qualifying from GP. 1,000 of a second, and he would have been, well, technically 2,000 of a second, and he would have been P4. But, anyways, P5 is, I guess, alright for him. But for Toonami, of course, it is the most important that he is in front of both of his championship rivals. And as well, that they did not improve their times. Probably Marco would have improved, but he invalidated. And now we go into the race. Of course, formation lap will be on in this first 2 minutes. Of course, let's see what the tires will be set. What they will get. What they will take on. Hard, mediums, medium, hards is going to be probably the strategies, of course. I doubt that there would be anything else. Okay, formation lap is on, of course, and we have quite a bit of hard runners out in here. We have McCluskey, Ruggy, Pimeralda, Jake, Tilted, Peligua, and Baron on the hards, and then the rest on the mediums. Okay. Ollie, of course, starting from, well, last, as, well, now it has been always, for some time. Shaz has now been disqualified for some reason. Probably hit someone. Or someone hit him. Maybe Toonami. But okay. Drivers now going into the third sector, so we will be soon seeing drivers lining up to their grid slots. And yeah, some people deciding to go on the AI because you will get a lot of temp on the tires, which is very beneficial. Ben is still not in the session, so he's gonna get absolutely eaten on the start unless he's already in. I'm just gonna check, is he in? No, he's not. Ibrahim as well as DSQ, but that's probably just that he missed his grid slot. And yeah, now we just wait for the 5 red lights. And let's get the show going. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out. Now, and we go here in the Miami Grand Prix. Lassie, does he get a good start? He does get a very decent, good start, but he does get overtaken by Shaz into turn 1, and he loses his P1. He loses his lead to Shaz. He had a very good initial start, but that second phase let him down. But he still keeps it. But he looked like he was going to attack Shaz, but it just looked like Shaz just went wide into the S's. Pretty clean start, I would say, because there's still no spins around in here, at least for now, unless I set someone for I don't know. But okay, very clean start for BP's standards out in here. But McCluskey trying to regain that lead already into turn 11. Toonami tries to send it down inside on both of them, and he does it successfully. Lassie a bit forced off, but Tsunami, what an overtake, double overtake on Shaz and McCluskey. Heavy braking into turn 11, and he does get them both, and he takes the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 1 into turn 11. McCluskey has to now defend from Rocky behind. Rocky has a lot more amount of ERS than McCluskey now. McCluskey could lose his P3 now to Rocky into the hairpin. Rocky side by side with him into turn 17, now into the hairpin, and he is in front of him. So McCluskey loses his P1 and he drops down all the way down to P4 on lap 1. So not a good start to the race whatsoever for McCluskey. He was of course looking to keep that P1 or at least maybe drop down to P2, but he's dropped it down to P4. GP as well, still in front of Nicholas. GP trying to overtake McCluskey now into the S around the outside. McCluskey doesn't risk it, and GP hangs it there around the outside, and he does get that P4. So McCluskey again loses a position, and he drops down to P5 now. Marco, a terrible start from him as well. I mean, of course, he was down there in P7, but he dropped it down to P8 now. Lost a position to Joseph Files. McCluskey as well losing a position to Niklas. So terrible start to McCluskey. Marco in the meantime regains his P7 back, but still not a good start from Marco though. Who got a very good start is Tsunami, who is leading this Grand Prix, and it's very needed that he leads this Grand Prix because he really needs to close that gap down on Rocky, so that it's going to be very much leveled. At this point on, Tsunami would take the championship lead from actually Marco's. Sorry, Rocky is in third in the championship, so this is absolutely mint for Tsunami that Marco is down in 7th. Rocky would close down on Marco as well a lot from this. Of course, the two horses just pretty much they have constructors in hand. One hand on the trophy, imaginary trophy of course, in here, because no one can afford that trophy in here. Rocky though is losing that DRS a bit on the top 2. Is he gonna completely lose it? The DRS detection spawn is after turn 7 and 8. Will he get that DRS? A bit of a bad exit, and I think he didn't get it. But that was super close. Did he get it though? No, he didn't. He didn't get it. So the top 2 can run away now from the rest of the pack. Shaz overtakes Tsunami easily with the DRS, but of course well, they need to work together now since they have lost the DRS. GP going a bit wide, was overtaking Rocky, and the gap is now closing in a bit. But GP really needs to push through this second sector to get that DRS. The DRS detection point is after this corner, and he doesn't get it again. The P3 driver doesn't get that DRS. Or did he? No, he didn't. So the top 2 can yet again run away now. They really need to work together if they want to really run away from the rest of the pack. The rest of the pack is in their massive DRS train from P3 down to P15. Miho is the last driver in this massive DRS train, so it would be massively beneficial for these two to just run away, especially for Tsunami, because then it is a good guarantee that he can get P2 minimum, unless there's gonna be a safety car or something that is gonna absolutely throw this race 180. And the gap is going to get massively close. GP again doesn't have the DRS on the top 2. So yet again, these two can just run away. Shaz easily overtakes Tsunami as always. McCluskey looking very close behind Niklas. On the left, down inside on Niklas into turn 11. Niklas tries to defend it out around the outside. A bit of contact between Niklas and McCluskey. It was a bit close with the room, I think, but McCluskey loses a position to Marco. He's still ghosted inside of Joseph Files, and he's now outside of Joseph Files, and he goes into the wall, and I think he might even lose a position to Ibrahim. No, he doesn't. I think Ibrahim as well had a very bad exit, so McCluskey drops it down to P8, and now he regains that P7 from Joseph Files. But a very, very bad opening first laps for McCluskey. Joseph Phillips now gets attacked by Ibrahim into turn 17. Does he get him? He's still side by side. He's still a bit close there, lads. A bit close there, lads. But Ibrahim does get in front of Joseph Phillips eventually, and he moves up to P8. Was that carbon fiber that I saw? I don't know. Maybe I was seeing something. But the two Aston Martins are still in that P11 and P12 places. The only difference is that they have switched. Pimerado was P11, Dragon was 12th, I believe. Yes. Oli, by the way, is already up to 13th, but this is going to be way harder than in Singapore, because DRS trains are a massive thing, and it's a massive thing around Miami as well. Meanwhile, in front, as always, Shaz overtakes Tsunami, Draghi overtakes GP. Behind this DRS train, nothing else happens. Maybe behind, Peliguan tilted, no, nothing. These two Alpines will be having just a very boring race in here, unfortunately. As when they're running second to last and third to last, Tsunami overtakes Shaz, as always, part of the plan, to just run away from these two, from this massive straight behind. Marco overtakes Niklas, so that's better damage limitation for Marco. Of course, if Marco would finish in third, then that would mean that Tsunami still would be the championship leader going into the next rounds. Round 13 out of 16. Meanwhile, behind Tom is getting attacked by Dragon Aranyat out of turn 1. It was a bit close between the two. Now Dragon does get a good exit out of turn 3. And Yellow's behind. That is someone spun. That is one of the Alpines. But Dragon running outside of the S's. What a move by Dragon. And now Pimerada as well gets beneficial from... I don't know what to say. Benefits from that. And so Tom lost 2 positions in just one section. As well, Niklas, I believe, lost a position. Or was it someone else? But definitely who I know lost a position is Pimerada. Oli now tries to overtake Tom, and he does it as well successfully. So he is up by a place. The messages are sent twice now. Rocky is now closing in on Shaz. Shaz doesn't have the same amount of pace, it seems like it now, compared to Tsunami, and he's lacking off a bit. Rocky, of course, doesn't have the DRS, so Shaz will be able to catch up on the straight massively. GP now overtakes Rocky into the hairpin. It's a bit close between the two, but I think Rocky is just gonna let through. Marco as well, very close behind Rocky. Marco, of course, needs to do some sort of damage limitation at this point of the race. Behind it is as well all sorts of bunkers. Rocky regains his P3 behind. Ibrahim still stays in 6th. Lossie and Niklas go side by side through turn 1, 2, and 3, and McCluskey does defend or attack well Niklas, and is up to P7 or stays in P7. Pimerada sends down inside on Joseph Phillips through turn 7 and 8, and it looked like a bit of contact between them. Tilted retires in the pits. Thought that there was going to safety car there. Marco overtakes GP, even though both of them had DRS. Marco overtakes him, so he's up to P4. So the two Haas drivers can now work together. Joseph Phillips spun around in turn 11, and he drops down to P13. Just about still has the DRS at the moment on Tom. Well, now not just about, he's within 6 tenths, so that's very easy. 5 tenths even, so he is easily in the DRS. Ollie's now very, very close behind Dragon, but Dragon outpaces him on the straight. So Dragon stays in P8 at the moment. In front, GP went a bit slow, and maybe there was lag, I don't know, but GP is still in front of McCluskey. It looked like close, but it in the end it wasn't. Shaz and Tsunami yet again switching places. Tsunami behind Shaz now. There's someone off the circuit a bit, and that was Niklas. and going very wide into turn 1, 2, and 3, and now tries to attack Pimarada through the S's. That was a bit of a wild one to send. Ollie as well sending it down inside on Dragon through turn 7 and 8. And does he get him? Yes, he does. But Dragon looked like he had more straight line speed. So can he get him on the count back? He has more ERS a bit. He's catching. He is side by side with him, but Ollie has the inside. But Dragon, does he hang it around the outside? Now got the inside. But now he's gonna have the outside going into the chicane, and Ollie does get him eventually. So Ollie up into the top 10. Tom gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Unfortunately, Ibrahim right behind GP, and McCluskey did get him. Now Ibrahim doesn't overtake him yet. In front, Shaz in front of, behind Tsunami, Roggy in front of Marco. Ibrahim did not get GP. Behind, nothing else happening. Literally nothing else happening. Of course, this is the reality of this massive DRS train. You just need to wait for a good opportunity. The top two aren't running away from the rest of the pack like I would be expecting them to. But it is a good news for the rest of the packs, since it is still possible for them to fight for that P1 and 2. If Shaz and Tsunami just fight a bit too much, then Roggy or Marco or whoever is going to be in P3 can just catch up a bit more, and they're going to be in that DRS. Ibrahim in front of GP, as well as Pimarada in front of GP, so GP now suffers a bit of a mid-race crisis, let's just say. Marco in front of Roggy, and the gap is 1.2 seconds. Marco is in the DRS. On the exit a bit slow, but did he get the DRS? I think he might be in. Yes, he is in. He has the DRS, so the rest of the pack are now connected to the top two. So now, Shaz and Tsunami can't just rest like that. They need to, well, now be on their toes. Of course, if Marco can stay within that 1 second for the rest of the lap, then it's going to be good. Doesn't have the DRS for this straight. Doesn't have the ERS. And it might be that they are now disconnected from the top two. But Rocky is now close to that 1 second. Within that 1 second of Shaz. He has a bit of that ERS. Definitely more than Marco, because Marco had very low amount of ERS. Behind Ollie in front of Niklas. So he's up to P9. But I'm really focusing on this DRS, well, getting into the DRS train, and I think Rocky got it here as well. Did he get it? No, he didn't. He didn't get it. So they're now again disconnected. Oh, that was a bit tight from Shaz. Overtake on Tsunami. Marco overtakes Rocky. Bit of a switchback from, well, it was looking like Rocky was doing a switchback, but of course teammates don't want to fight, as well as well, they're literally trying to get back into the DRS of the top two, which is very crucial. And Marco does get the DRS on Tsunami, but now again the gap rises up to, well, over 1 second. Meanwhile, behind the mid pack has been disconnected. Niklas has lost the DRS on Ollie. Dragon overtakes Niklas. Niklas goes into the back of Dragon though, as well as Joseph Villas tries to attack Tom on the inside of turn 17, and he does get him. Let's see if anything is going to be happening in here. Joseph Villas maybe a cheeky send on Niklas down inside into turn 1. No, he doesn't. No one sends a cheeky one. Michał has as well lost the DRS on the rest of the pack, but who has the DRS is Marco. Regains that DRS on the front two. Baron goes straight on into turn 17, but Marco has the DRS, so now it's way easier to keep up with those top two, and now he can really fight with Tsunami and Shaz. Has the same amount of tires, same amount of tires, same tires, compared to what Shaz and Tsunami have. Niklas 3 seconds, so both Williamses have 3 seconds now. Has a bit of a slide on the exit out of that chicane. Now it is now Marco could be looking at an overtake. Well, no, really, I don't think. Shaz has more ERS than Marco. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be any overtake from Marco, but Shaz, is he going to send it? No, he isn't. Good move. Ibrahim has lost the DRS on the top 6. He is going to try to regain it, but I think with this many drivers in there, I think it's going to be pretty impossible to get it. Oli does go first one into the pits, goes for the undercut, tries to go for the undercut, of course, to catch up to the top 6. The same idea has Dragon to do a good undercut or a big undercut on the cars in front, and they're the first ones to make overall a pit stop and a scheduled pit stop, that one as well. Rather very side by side with Rocky on the exit of turn 7 and 8 actually, but Rocky has the better exit as well as more ERS. In front, Shaz does. I don't think he will overtake Tsunami. Marco too far behind, but Pinrada is trying to go for the overtake on Rocky. It's contact into turn 11, I think, but in the end, Rocky is in front of Pinrada into these chicanes. So a good defense work from Rocky, but he needs to watch out from behind. Now he doesn't, because Pinrada has gotten a disastrous exit out of turn 16. Actually, Lossim could go for the overtake, and he does go for the overtake. Meanwhile, in front, Rocky goes for the overtake on Marco, and as well, maybe Cheeky sent down his side on Shaz, was looking a bit for it, but in the end didn't. Now maybe on the exit out of the turn 17, maybe does he get a good exit? Tsunami went into the pits. Rocky, does he take the lead of the Grand Prix now? Yes, he does. Marco, can he make it 1-2? In here into turn 1, yes he does, but a bit of contact to his teammate, run a bit wide, didn't want to fully go into his teammate, and in the end it is not 1-2, it is 1-4 maybe. Yes, it is 1-4 for Haas at the moment. Marco tried to make it 1-2, but just went a bit too deep into turn 1, and yeah, Pinrada as well overtakes Marco, so he loses one more position. He is now at the back of this DRS train. Meanwhile, the drivers who pitted are Tsunami, GP, Ibrahim, Niklas, and Miho. What are my predictions? I don't know. It's a 3 wide into turn 11. This is definitely not helping the fact that Tsunami could get a massive undercut on these drivers who are still yet to pit, who are on the mediums. Jesus Christ, what is happening? Shaz is losing it all. He is losing it all of it. Marco is side by side with Shaz. That is suboptimal. And these are the two who are still on the mediums. Those yellow flags are, of course, for, I think, Jameiro. But anyways, Marco overtakes Shaz. Yes, he does. In front, McCluskey and Pinrada still in form. Basically not overtaking. Marco and Shaz, they pit. Yes, they do pit. And I think they'll lose quite a bit of time to Tsunami. And maybe even be behind Oli, because Oli is within close to 2 seconds behind him. They might have lost loads of time on them. Tsunami is just past them. Oli has as well passed them, as well as GP. Of course, you caught the course a bit with his pit exit, but Marco is behind Oli and behind GP as well. So this all this fighting with the hard runners, and pretty much the top 5 that it was at that point, in that fight, and now they are in the fight for the race win and for a podium. Masterclass from GP and Oli to go for from Oli to go for a 2-lap undercut on the rest of the pack and 1-lap undercut for the other rest of the pack. And yeah, now he's in front of Marco and Shaz, who were fighting for the race win, pretty much. And he's catching up on Tsunami, so Oli, masterclass at the moment. Now I can say what's my predictions. I mean, it is very close. Jacob's very early on to the pits from the Hearts. But I think, I mean, with this strategy, I think Oli is going to be up there fighting for the podium. But I think these three, I mean, Pimerada now with the 3 second, I don't think he will be able to fight for the podium. But I think Tsunami will win it. Then behind is going to be Rogge, and then third is going to be McCluskey at the moment. Of course, these three still need to pit from those Hearts. They will be behind Shaz, probably Ibrahim, Dragon, but they will have fresh mediums compared to what others will have. Old, well, somewhat old Hearts. So yeah, it's not going to be that good for them, but they will of course need to go through the field. McCluskey gets overtaken by Rogge, but too far back Pimerada is, unless he's gonna send the devious one. No, he doesn't. Tsunami overtakes Pelligua with the DRS, but Oli is within the DRS as well, so this didn't really help out Tsunami whatsoever. Pelligua is still gonna give the DRS to Oli, and Pelligua is still not pitting, so maybe as well Oli could get held up by Pelligua, so maybe the gap will be back to what it was, about 1.4 seconds, but still, it's not looking good for Tsunami whatsoever for the race win. Oli now loses a bit of time on Pelligua, well, on Tsunami because of Pelligua. Of course, Pelligua has old Hearts compared to well, newer Hearts. Pelligua goes off. Pelligua goes wide, loses time on Oli. Oli doesn't even get the DRS, so that's even worse for him. Pelligua could go for the overtake on Oli for whatever reason. Does he go for it? No, he doesn't. So he doesn't interrupt Oli whatsoever. He races his own race and Oli his own race. In the meantime, behind, GP overtakes Marco. And Dragon overtakes Ibrahim on the inside. Yes, he does. In front, Rogge has overtaken McCluskey and Pimerada as well. And Pimerada, does he overtake Rogge? Yes, he does. On the inside, and he does overtake both of them. And he's up to P1. Of course, he has a 3 seconds. But at this stage of the race, he as well could just try and force one of them for a mistake and get a 3 seconds as well. Oli is almost within that 1 second. He's almost within that 1 second. He's just there. Only needs 1/10 to gain on Tsunami. He was there. He is catching to Tsunami a bit. But can he catch him on this lap? We will see. Through the first 3 corners, he has lost a 10th. So he needs to gain 2 tenths through these S's. Does he gain enough? He's gaining through the S's, but is he gonna get it a bit wide on the exit of turn 7 and 8? And he doesn't get it, so he lost a bit of time. Tsunami, yet another DRS straight where he doesn't have to worry about Oli. These three still stay the same. And behind, GP overtakes Pelligua easily. Marco is gonna be stuck behind Pelligua now through the very slow section in here in Miami. Shaz as well behind Marco. Behind Niklas was close with Ibrahim, but now the gap has risen over a second. Meanwhile, behind in front, Rogge has overtaken Pimerada. Oli still not within that DRS. Marco should get a very easy one on Pelligua. Shaz is not going to be close enough for an overtake, so he stays in 9th at the moment. Bit of a squeeze there from Marco and Pelligua. Pelligua, does he pit? No, he doesn't. He still stays out for 1 more lap, at least. Now, does he send it down inside into turn 1? Pelligua will not fight. Shaz sends it down inside. Pelligua leaves him enough space probably like 2 car lengths space, or cars with space, and yeah, he's up to P8. Pellicois doesn't fight whatsoever. Seems like it. The rest of the pack behind, nothing much happening. Besides that, what the hell is going on in here? GP Markan, how the hell did this go? Okay, maybe just the timing going a bit weird, because yeah, Marco is 3 seconds behind GP apparently. In the meantime, in front, Pimrada in front of McCluskey, in front of Ruggie. So Ruggie has lost a position to McCluskey. Pimrada's in the lead. Only now, I think he's within that 1 second. Yes, he is within that 1 second. He's within that 7 tenths, 8 tenths. So he has the DRS, and now Tsunami has to think about the car behind, which is Oli now. GP still with that weird fucking timing. Marco now has the more accurate timing to like Oli. Pimrada and lastly the 2 Spaniards go into the pits for their scheduled pit stop onto the mediums. Rocky stays out 1 more lap. Pellicois, does he pit? No, he doesn't, so he stays out as well 1 more lap. And yeah, Pimrada and McCluskey will need to charge through the field to try and get good results, but they're gonna be in the mix of this flipping all this train. Pimrada just about got in front of this whole train, and in the lead of that train was his teammate Dragon, so he's as well very lucky that it's his teammate and not like Ibrahim. McCluskey got very unlucky that he's in the middle of this whole train. Thankfully that he's not at the back of it. McCluskey is going to have to be aggressive with the ERS and with his driving style now, as he does go for the overtake on Niklas, and he doesn't need to be now aggressive at all. In front, Ibrahim Wash is trying to overtake Dragon around the outside, on the inside now, and does he get him? Yes, he does get him. So Ibrahim up to P9. McCluskey now right behind Dragon. Of course, Dragon has that tire advantage. So Zafiles gets a 3 seconds. That's a first 3 seconds for him. McCluskey usage of ERS once again, and he should get Dragon. And yes, he does! Ruggie, a colossal mistake from Ruggie. The one that he was trying to catch to Marco, who needs to catch up to Marco and Tsunami. Massive mistake from him, and he has got a 10 seconds time penalty for speeding in the pits, so that's gonna be a massive well, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just gonna be very hard to get any sort of points in this race with that 10-second penalty. I think he might get he could go pointless in this race with that 10-second penalty, and with all this DRS strain, he could very much go pointless in this race. Shaz overtakes GP, so he is now up to podium place. Oli is now fighting for the race win, actually. That's very interesting. Behind, 2-2 wide behind. Dragon sending it down inside on Pellicois. Pellicois is in this massive fight that he doesn't want to be a part of, because he is on old hearts. He's being pushed from behind from the Williams. The Williams is being very, very impatient. Of course, those hearts are pretty much dead at this point, waiting for that safety car. Pellicois is, but now gets overtaken by Niklas and Tom, should be. In front, Ruggie overtakes Ibrahim, so that's a very easy overtake for him. Lassie and Pimrada already trying to catch up to the rest of the pack. They still have 8 laps at this point. Fastest lap for Pimrada. The fastest lap by far. Half a second in front of Oli. So yeah, Pimrada, the next target is Marco. And the top 3, not the top 3, but the 3 drivers in here. So yeah, Pimrada through the S's is gonna get the DRS on the cars in front. So he will stay with these. But yeah, by some sort of laps, it is going to be a very easy overtake for him. Oli I was looking at that fuel a few laps ago, and it says very close that he might get on the negatives. It is going to be close with fuel for Ollie, that's for sure. In the end of the race, he might need to fuel save a bit. It is going to be helpful. It is going to be a bit more easy with the fuel save, because he has a DRS now, so he doesn't need to push as hard, and he can just, of course, lift off in here. He doesn't do that much of the lift off. Behind the top two, GP overtakes Shaz. Pimroda sends a devious one on Marco, and does he get a good exit? Yes, he does get a better exit, and he is up to P5. Of course, Pimroda has a 3-second, but he needs to catch up to this front, as behind there's there's Tom and Joseph Viles in the wall. Both of them spawn, and do they have damage? It doesn't seem like that any of them have damage, at least something that we see. But it is that Joseph Viles and Tom are down to P15 and 16, unfortunately. In the meantime, Pimroda has overtaken Shaz and now tries to overtake GP through turn 8 and through 7 and 8. But I think he might have been a bit too aggressive on this one, because he now won't have the DRS, and now he will lose places to GP and Shaz like that. In the meantime, Ollie has overtaken Tsunami. Ollie's still not saving fuel, seems like it. But he's still just about in the pluses. But yeah, Pimroda just about defended from Shaz, apparently. McCloskey 3 seconds, so yet another one who has the fresh mediums and now will not get... his pace is gonna get hindered, or the result is gonna get hindered by a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately. Pimroda now takes GP. In the meantime, Rogge and McCluskey have now caught up to this pack where Pimroda is. So now Pimroda will really need to just get away from this DRS train behind. Shaz behind, trying to go for the overtake around the outside on GP. This is going to help Pimroda a lot, because they will go a bit slower. GP does defend from Shaz very nicely, and he's in P4 still. But yeah, that's a bit helped Pimroda. Nicholas 3 seconds yet again. Just to fill it into the pits. But yeah, Pimroda still not able to pull away from GP. Joseph Viles, in the meantime, retired in the pits, so no safety car whatsoever. In front, Tsunami has overtaken Ollie. Ollie really needs to think about the fuel. Lassi overtakes Rogge. Behind, Ibrahim could be looking for an overtake on Dragon, and does he go for it? Yes, he does go for it. In front, Marco overtakes Shaz, but they're still side by side through this slow section, and no, they're not anymore. Marco gets Shaz, and now Shaz might get overtaken on this massive straight by McCluskey. McCluskey has more ERS than Shaz, so he could just overuse it, or just use it more than Shaz, and he's going to be in front. And yes, he is in front of McCluskey, so he's up to P6. Marco overtakes GP on the inside. Yes, he does. McCluskey already right behind GP. A bit of contact there between the two. Pimroda already running away from the rest of the pack behind him. GP overtakes Marco on the start-finish straight. McCluskey looking as well for the opportunity. Push to pause a bit using in here by McCluskey, but doesn't actually use it, so he might not get actually penalized for that. Of course, he did push him a bit, but if you didn't do a push to pass, then the chance of getting McCluskey reported are going to be lower. 5 laps to go in this race. GP might get completely eaten by Marco, McCluskey, and maybe even by Shaz on this straight. GP does get overtaken by Marco and McCluskey. Rogge behind tries to go for the overtake on Shaz. GP might get quadruple overtaken, and Rogge completely overshoots the corner and goes into the side of Lassi. So yeah, Rogge overheaded a bit, but still regains that DRS on Shaz. Depends now if Rocky has damage. I mean, we don't see it, but he might have small amount of damage. Lassie does overtake Marco, so he is up to P4, but still he has 3 seconds. Pimeralda has almost fallen off. Well, not fallen off, but he has gone away from the pack behind him. Well, he has, but the 3 seconds is now the matter. And he's still not... basically, the cars behind are... some of the cars behind are still within his 3 seconds, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Tsunami and Oli are still in the fight of their own, fighting for P1. Even if Tsunami finishes P1, he's gonna catch up to Marco. But the question is, will he get P1 in the standings or P2? Because in P1 he does get it, but in P2 he doesn't. P5 for, well, actually P4 at the moment. Well, actually P3 for Marco compared to Tsunami's P2. In the end, if he does get P2, mean that Tsunami is gonna only gain 3 points. If Marco would finish P5, then it would mean only 8 points catching up. So 5 points still between Tsunami and Marco going into the next race, as Oli does overtake Tsunami easily on this massive straight going into turn 17. Rocky overtakes Shaz. Of course, Rocky has a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit, so Shaz doesn't really need to fight him at all. For position, Rocky is gonna anyways fall down from... He might actually be in the point, because Jake is 8 seconds behind Niklas, so he's outside of that. Peligua now pits, finally, from those hards. He's gone very, very long on those hards. He was really praying for that safety car, but he didn't get it, unfortunately. And then Dragon is here. Niklas has 10 seconds, 6 seconds, so... yeah, Niklas might get cooked as well, that he doesn't get that at least P10. Marco still has a DRS. Rocky side by side with GP. Rocky really needs to save something from this race, at least for enjoyment, at least. GP a bit pushing Rocky, but Rocky is still in front. Meanwhile, behind, Dragon is fighting with Ibrahim for that P9. And he does get him. Of course... they could know that Rocky... I think they know that Rocky has a 10-second time penalty, so they really need to fight, well, for P9 and for that P8, which they will eventually get, unless, I don't know, flipping Rocky gets that penalty off. But in the meantime, Rocky has overtaken Marco, and now Rocky is maybe gonna go for the overtake on McCluskey into turn 1. No, he's not gonna go for it, unless he's gonna send a massive one into turn 1. No, he doesn't, so he stays behind. McCluskey's still in 4th. Pimeralda is catching up to Oli, but the gap between McCluskey and Pimeralda is still staying 2.1 seconds. The rest of the pack are still staying in that gap. I think Marco might be outside of that 3 seconds from Pimeralda, but it's very, very close. Yes, he is outside of that now. So, at the moment, Pimeralda is going to stay in 3rd, in that podium place, as Pimeralda is catching up a lot on Oli, but Pimeralda is not saving any of the ERS. Oli, has he saved ERS? Yes, he has saved ERS, so he can go until the end of the race. Pimeralda, well, he still can, because it's gonna run out pretty much close to the finish line. But then the question is, is he gonna lose that P3 for Marco? As behind there are yellows, that's Jake spinning, but there's gonna be no safety car, as it's pretty much too late. Rocky does overtake Lassie, so that benefits Pimeralda a lot for that 3-second penalty. Behind, Ibrahim fights Niklas, and Niklas in the wall. Ibrahim fully pushed him into the wall, at least what we saw. Niklas broken front wing, probably, yes, he has a fully broken front wing. Well, half broken front wing, but anyways. And he goes into the pitch, probably retire. Tom, of course, overtakes Niklas as well as Jake. We start the penultimate lap of the race. I mean, we started bits already. As Ollie, what the hell has he done? He's 2.9 seconds behind Tsunami. He's 2.8 seconds behind Tsunami, and Pimerolda is right behind him, and the whole flipping pack is right behind him, behind Pimerolda. What the hell has happened to Ollie? Massive mistake by Ollie somewhere, and Ollie now tries to fully defend that P2, but now McCluskey can get it. 3 wide going into turn 12. Pimerolda tries to take out Ollie. McCluskey up into P2. Pimerolda is absolutely fuming probably. Ollie as well. Pimerolda sends it down inside on turn 16, and both of them are into the wall. Ollie uses the reset to drag, of course. But what the hell has happened on the penultimate lap? Tsunami pretty much has the golden ticket now to the race win. McCluskey could maybe go for a P2 in this race, but we'll see, can he do it? Pimerolda retires just by press of a button probably, unless he punted himself into a wall. I doubt it, because his car is still driving. But Pimerolda, what the hell was that with Ollie? What the hell did Ollie even do on the penultimate lap to lose so much time? Probably a mistake, of course, but that was an absolute disaster class from Ollie, and then as well from Pimerolda. Pimerolda absolutely fuming that he lost all of that time, and he was gonna fall out the podium. Like I said, Tsunami pretty much has a golden ticket now to the race win, and pretty much, almost take the championship lead. Marco is still within that 3 seconds of McCluskey, and behind Marco, no one can really attack him that can really affect his position, unless I don't flip it. No, GP is gonna absolutely send it down inside on Marco and take him out, and Marco is gonna finish in P5. But yeah, Tsunami, there were some stuff said that he might that he sucks at this race, and it was all flipping rigged that he doesn't win this. But in qualifying, it didn't look like he had the pace initially in Q1 and Q2, but in Q3, good position for the race, and then in the race, masterclass from him in terms of pace. So Tsunami wins the Miami Grand Prix. McCluskey finishes on P2, but Marco finishes in P2. McCluskey third, Shaz fourth, GP sixth, fifth, Dragon sixth. Ruggy is gonna finish in P9 in the end with that 10 second and pretty much 13 seconds of penalties that he had. So another points loss for the championship contender and a previous championship leader as well, Ruggy was. So Tsunami, masterclass race from him as well. Defended the pressure from Ollie as well beautifully, and gains 7 points on Marco and gets himself closer to that championship lead going into the next race, round 13, which I'm still yet to flipping kinda know. No, I've literally do not remember what's the round 13, but yeah, beautiful race from Tsunami. Marco, damage limitations really from him, of course. Yeah. Ollie and Pimerolda are going to be absolutely fuming. They're going to have probably a bit of a chat. But yeah, Tsunami wins the Miami Grand Prix. Marco finishes on P2, so a bit of a damage limitation from Marco. McCluskey third, Shaz in fourth, GP in fifth. A very good race from him. Dragon in sixth, a very good race from him as well. Ibrahim in seventh. Ollie from P20 to P8 doesn't sound too bad until you hear that he was fighting for the win. But then I think he bottled it through the penultimate lap. Ruggy in P9. Pretty much all his fault. 23 seconds! Huh? Yes, I don't flip it now. Jake rounds off the top 10, and then it's Tom, Michał, Peligua, Niklas. Niklas had a very good qualifying, but the race, disaster. Baron 15th, Pinrada 16th, Jameiro 17th, Ben 18th, Joseph Files, and Tilted in 19th and 20th. Next race is going to be USA. So I'm assuming that's Kota. Of course, then the race after is going to be mystery round. And yeah, that was Prestige. Tsunami closes in on Marco. Ruggy again loses time on both of them. This is a... what sort of round this is? Like, which race is it that he loses points on both of them? Well, loses points both of them since Qatar, really. So yeah, pretty much after Australia, he hasn't been the same, really. Let's just say that. But yeah, Ruggy really needs to like fixes well, everything really. Well, not really everything, but you get me. Hasn't been the same since Australia. Everything is going wrong, I guess. But yeah, next week is USA, so probably that's gonna be Kota. So yeah, see you next week around Kota. Round 13.